What's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Guy Maydan, and this is my trading channel. My last video was going over a bunch of the trades that I ended up taking during that trading week, and I believe the trading week spanned for I think it was like a 2 month span or something like that. It was a really long time, and there was a time where I wasn't trading. There was a time where every trade that I was taking was seemingly being lost, and I can even pull up the results here. We took a lot of setups, and this is in my Discord. With my Discord, every trade that I do take, I literally send it out like in real time, and it's more of an accountability thing for me. I initially labeled this as like my trading journal on Telegram, but we just moved over to Discord, and instead of naming it trading journal, I just named it Currency Collectors, which is my company where I teach people how to learn how to trade. So you can see a bunch of the setups that I ended up taking, and this began around the 2nd of March. That was my first setup that I took. And as you can see, the X's mean that I lost them, right? And then going even further, to show you that I did lose, we were losing a bunch of equity, right? We had a couple days where we would get a balance increase, equity increase. But as you can see, we took a lot of losses. And mind you, we had just rolled off of a huge winning week where we only took 6 trades, won 3, lost 3. So, it was just a time where, not too many trades were being taken and not too many of them were being won. And during that time, what I was doing was just, building up my mental strength, because when it comes down to trading, you have to be mentally strong. And that was one thing that I slowly felt like I was losing. So after I lost maybe 3 trades, 4 trades, I decided to lock in and start to change things. What did I change? I changed me not trading multiple pairs. At the time, I was trading GJ, GU, and gold. But, I'm just doing the same thing that I teach my students. Go back to a currency pair, stick to that currency pair, and just don't leave it. Learn the fundamentals, and then if you want to branch out to, a future, a crypto, anything of that nature, you can. So that was one of the things that I ended up doing, was just going back, going over my chart work and, refining my edge. Also, I took a bunch of notes. One of the things that I recommend, that if you don't already have, is to have a journal, like a literal journal. I have the things like placed out to show you that I'm journaling, and this is like all of my knowledge, being put in there. And what I continue to do over time is update it. So if I learn something new in the market, I update it, and it all pertains to you, because trading is subjective. It really depends on how you personally see the market. That's why there's the option to either buy or sell. What you have to learn how to do is stick to your guns, like, so to speak. So whenever you're buying, stick to the buy. Don't waver in your mind, stick to the buy. If it meets the edge that you have cultivated, that you have built, then stick to it. And that's why a lot of, you want to say, trading gurus, or, individuals that are on YouTube or on Twitter or whatever social media platform, when you talk to them, the first thing that they're going to say is, don't learn from YouTube. And here's the reason why. Because when you're learning from YouTube, you're piecing 1 thing, 2 things, 3 things, 4 things, 5 things, 6 things that you've seen from different creators, and then trying to make an edge based off of that. And you're using one guy's edge that does this, and then one guy's edge that does this, and then they don't coincide together. And then now you're just switching. You're flip-flopping when you make a loss. That's not how you go about trading. I don't care what you do. Like, literally, I don't care what you do. It doesn't matter if you learn from me. It doesn't matter if you learn from Joe. It doesn't matter if you learn from Christy. Whatever you decide to do, whether you learn from yourself, from market experience, meaning you're going to have to lose a lot of money. And that was something that I chose to do in the beginning. I lost a lot of money before finding a mentor, going under that mentor, watching his videos, and building the building blocks from there, which ultimately led to a mountainous amount of profits. So it really all depends on what you personally want to do. If you're the type that you want to figure things out on your own, like I am, then maybe the best route for you is, 1, going out and doing it on your own, and then figuring out just how difficult it is to learn everything that you need to learn with not knowing anything, because there's a couple stages to the learning process. I'm going to keep it very simple. It's like you don't know what you don't know, and then you learn to know what you don't know. You eventually learn, what you need to know over time. But understanding that getting from those levels is really difficult, because the first time when you're in trading, and I remember my first time being into trading, you really don't understand what's happening. You see candlesticks, you don't know what they're called. You just see that they're, some bars on the screen. Or even if you're trading a line chart, can potentially make money, it could potentially lose money. That's what you do understand. You don't understand what to really do. You don't have a really refined way, a set thing that you do every time to produce a result. So, that's just like the easiest way to simplify what you would have to go through learning things on your own. Like I said, it would be super easy. Like, it would be way easier. It would save you a lot more money down the line if you decide to invest in a mentor and stick with that mentor's teachings and then build upon it yourself. That's the easy way. But if you're like me, I took the hard way and eventually gave in. So it's really up to you. But aside from strategies, the main thing that you have to do is continue to work on your craft. And my way of continuing to working on my craft is by A, hopping on the charts, B, talking to people in my community, or C, taking down notes from what, I've went through within the trading week. And there were a couple things that I took from that trading week. Like, for instance, it was my session trading. I would trade out of session a lot. And this was just because of my schedule. My schedule was all over the place. If you don't know, I have a gaming channel. I also have a more channel, like where I do vlogs and I do reactions to stuff. I stream. And at first I didn't have a set schedule. I would just stream whenever I wanted to stream. I'd play games whenever I wanted to play games. I would trade whenever I wanted to trade. And then from there, I started to restructure things. And mind you, this was because I was going through a lot of stuff in my mind. And if you go through my channel, you'll see a lot of my journey. I am a six-figure earner within trading. I have lost a lot of money, and it has nothing to do with trading. It was mismanagement of life funds. Without being too personal, I was a chronic cannabis user and an alcoholic. And, a lot of my decisions were swayed by those things. I love fine dining. I love designer. I would go and do those things on a whim and not focus on trading. And that is what led me to be in a point to where I didn't want to be at. And now life has been changing. So, getting back to the right mind state is key. And whatever that takes for you to do, you do it. Like I said, losing can put you in a real slump, because no other thing out here is going to affect you like trading does. Understanding that when you take a trade and you take a loss, it's instant, or even it's worse if you hold the trade for 2-3 days, maybe a week, and then you see it go up and you see it go down. You're having these mood swings. In the beginning, that is what it is like. And even now, I've been trading for a half a decade. And over this time, sometimes I still feel it, like after a losing streak. 1 trade doesn't bother me. 3 trades doesn't bother me. After it's like 9 trades, I'm like, bro, what the hell going on? That's kind of where I start to get the feel, like what's going on. But aside from that, I don't feel anything. And that just comes with time in the game. And this is because I know what I'm doing. I'm sticking to my strategy, and I don't, waver. I'm not like, oh, I need to switch it up. I need to go learn from somebody else. I need to go look up some YouTube videos. I'm not doing that. So during my trading week, and whether it's a losing week or a winning week, my main focus is to learn something at the end of the day, because the amount of money that you're making, or the amount of money that you could have made, is insurmountable to the knowledge that you can gain to make you even more money. So I look at it like it's a college tuition, so far within the trading, like within the trading niche, within the trading education, I've only paid like like a couple grand. I'm not even joking, like no more than 5,000 in total, of my own money. I'm not talking about, like there were times where I had a 1K account. I flipped up to like 7K and then blew it in one trade because of the news. Profit money does not count. I mean, pure money out of my bank account. I say maybe 5,000. My expenses are so low because I copped a course. No BS. The way I got it, unconventional, but we ended up getting a course, and that completely changed the trajectory of my trading journey. So as of now, net profit, we're in the hundreds of thousands. So when it comes down to a losing week, you really just want to focus on what you can learn. Don't focus on what you lost. Don't focus on what you could have gained. Focus on what you have learned. If you've learned nothing, then that's a problem. You need to learn from your mistakes. And sometimes it could just be market conditions. Currently, during that time that I was experiencing those losses, it was abnormal market conditions. It was something that we have not experienced in 4 years. And that is because Trump has not been in office. And this is during the tariff talk. This is during the war cessations. This is during the, prime ministers coming in and out, Trump making these egregious tweets. And, all of this stuff is happening in the news. When before, with Joe Biden, there was seemingly nothing happening. It was a really boring market, meaning it was predictable because there was nothing that was going to happen from a president's perspective, knowing that when the U.S. president says something controversial or, goes against the grain of how the world was currently moving, it's going to shake the markets. It's going to shake all markets. It's not just going to shake the stock market. It's going to shake everybody's market because the U.S. dollar is one of the strongest dollars. And I believe 90% of trade is within the US dollar. I could be correct. I could be incorrect. I don't focus on GDP. You have to be able to give yourself grace. You're not going to know everything. You're not the only person in the market. You're not the only person losing. There were a lot of other people that were with you that took that order. Understand that. You don't have to have a community to see that. You can see it on the charts, and I'll prove it to you. So let's look at GU. We can see that right here, there was a level of resistance, correct? So let's go down to the lower time frame, because mind you, whenever you see these candlesticks moving, these are people. These are people just like you and me that are in the market, and they were looking to take a buy order, because the only way sell orders are filled is that somebody on the other end was buying. The only way that buy orders are filled is that somebody was on the other end selling. We have some people that bought up here, and that's why you see the wick. The wicks that are up there, those are people that took the buy order. So if you were one of those people that got stopped out because your stop loss was below this low here, that's okay. You're not alone. And that's one of the main things that you have to begin to grasp while you're in the market, that you're never alone. You may not physically see the person that's taking the order with you. And it's not just one person. There's thousands of people that are taking the exact same order as you that ended up getting stopped out by the majority. Learn to accept it. Learn to grow from these situations. You have to learn what's happening in the market. What caused this to happen? And if you can't figure it out, search for the answer. Continue to search for it. Write it down. Don't forget about it. You can step away, but don't forget about it. That is what's going to lead to more growth. And this can be helpful for slow weeks. This can be helpful for losing weeks. This can even be helpful for winning weeks, because when you're winning, you're in that euphoria state. And sometimes that euphoria state can alter your judgment, the same way how weed can alter your judgment, the same way alcohol can alter your judgment. Winning back-to-back trades can alter your judgment. And you always just want to make sure that you go back to your roots and stick to them. That's really all that I do when I'm in a losing week. Hopefully this was helpful for you. We will be continuing the series. I'm going to start, doing it more like this. I don't really like the other format that I was doing. It was dark. It just didn't fit the vision that I have. So for those other videos, they're there. You can watch them. Cool. Moving forward, we do have a new challenge system that we're going to be doing, a new format of YouTube videos that we will be placing on this channel, because I want to be more consistent. I want to give more on this channel. I'm really consistent on my other two channels. This one, I'm not so consistent because I've had a weird relationship with trading, and my wife you know, she spoke on it and was saying like, why don't you make trading look fun? Because I mean, it is fun, but I've been doing it for so long that I've become numb, and that the only feelings that I have are serious, and the seriousness can come off as a sadness type of thing. When in reality, I'm not sad at all. I love trading. I began trading and I've never looked back. I've never been doing something for so long. The only thing that I've done for so long and equal would be gaming. And even then, I put down gaming for a while. One thing that I have never put down, even when I was at my lowest, was trading. And there's been times I've been really down bad from my spending habits. But then I throw $10, $15 in the market and just stick there and then flip it up to 600. And then from there, keep flipping it up. And then now we're in the thousands range. I've done this multiple times over. And the only thing that I've stuck to is trading. So trading is fun. And it may not be the fun that is normalized on social media. I don't go out to clubs. I don't go skiing. Well, I may go skiing. I meant to say jet skiing because I don't really care to do that. Or, you know, going on yachts that I don't own, or, you know, any of those things. If it doesn't fit my lifestyle, I don't enjoy it. What does fit my lifestyle is gaming. So the amount of games that I'm able to buy, trading funds that. So it just, you know, coming from that perspective, I'm going to start showing you how trading is fun for me and how it impacts my life. You know, me buying new things for my setup, my YouTube setup. That excites me. I met my wife through trading. You know, like there's so many things I've had so many connections through trading. My father trades now because of me. My mother trades now because of me. You know, my sister, my brother, they're looking to get into trading. Trading has ultimately changed my life, and trading is fun. It's just not the normalized fun, like I said, that you see on YouTube or on Twitter or on Instagram. And I'm going to try to pave my own way, you know, and we'll see what we do with that. You know, I'll do a couple vlogs here and there on this channel, but the main vlogs will be on the other channel, of course. And I want you to be cultivated within my community. Understand, hey, Dan likes the game, okay? Dan likes the game. So if you want to see more of me, go to God Made Dan. If you want to see more God Made Dan, go to my channel, More God Made Dan. That's why I have them featured in the bottom to let you know that I'm still here. You know, it's just the creativity that comes with trading. It's just a little bit more that I have to put into it because I've never really been a trading creator. I never wanted to be a trading creator. I was just placed in a position where I've impacted so many people that I became one. And, you know, that was on social media, on the Instagram side and Snapchat side, never on the YouTube side. So this is a new type of creativity. I'll see you guys in the next video. The next one may be a little bit of chart work. Make sure you do like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy God Made Dan,